Recording in progress.
The January 28th, 2026 meeting of the Greenville County Planning Commission is hereby called to order. At today's meeting, we will review rezoning applications, subdivision applications, and other items brought to us by staff. Unless the commission members have a question for the applicant, we will not accept additional public comment on the rezoning applications. The rezoning cases were presented at a public hearing, and that was the opportunity to hear public comments in favor of or in opposition to the rezoning cases. At today's meeting, the commission will be making its recommendation on the rezoning cases. Detailed information on each of the cases was provided to us in our electronic agenda package in advance of this meeting. Our recommendations will be forwarded to County Council's Planning and Development Committee for their consideration and decision. The subdivision matters we will review today were previously reviewed by the Subdivision Advisory Committee. At that meeting, the reviewing agencies presented their preliminary findings to staff based on comments from the Subdivision Advisory Committee, along with a review of applicable sections of the ordinance. Staff has prepared recommended conditions of approval for each preliminary plat. My goodness. And not all this is applicable to today's agenda. Anyone wishing to address the commission on subdivision matters should have signed up to speak. Again, you cannot address the commission during this meeting on rezoning request. The official public hearing on these cases has already been held. I'd like to welcome everybody, 2026. Mr. Holland is going to take care of our invocation.
May we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this afternoon asking your blessing over this body, over the citizens of Greenville County. Please give us the wisdom to make an informed recommendation to our council leaders on the matters that are currently before us. Please bless everyone as they drive home this evening and get them all home safely. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Holland.
Thank you.
The meeting minutes of our December meeting, Mr. Matasevic needs to make a motion on some amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are three adjustments that I see that need to be made. On page 4, the three sentences that begin with hobby farms on large lots need to be deleted. That appears to have been inserted by accident. In the following paragraph, there are two percentages, a plus 4.8% and plus 18.39%, which should also be stricken from that page. And then on page 6, where it says 1,417 and 1,735. I have asked about that, and the correct numbers should be 14, 32, 17, and 35, two-digit numbers instead of four-digit numbers there. So I move that the minutes be accepted with those edits.
Thank you, Mr. Matasevic. Does any other commissioner have any other amendments or corrections? Hello? All right, can I get a motion to approve as amended?
I will have a motion to approve as amended.
I'll second.
Ms. Manning has motion to approve with amendments. Mr. Holland has a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty, zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. The following is a brief explanation of the Planning Commission process to consider rezoning cases. Each docket will be presented, including the requested zoning, specific details of the site, as well as maps and photos of the site and surrounding area. The presentation will conclude with the staff recommendation. Staff recommendation is a result of feedback from a team of internal and external county stakeholders who review each case. After each presentation, the Planning Commission may either vote with or against staff's recommendation, in addition to offering any additional amendments to the recommendation. All items forwarded from today's meeting will be heard by the Planning and Development Committee in person in the committee room in the North Building, which is scheduled for February 2nd at 5:00 p.m. The first docket is CZ-2026-001. The property is located at 506 and 508 South Buncombe Road and 1710 Hood Road in Greer. The applicant is Gregory Ashmore of SR Mulch and Grinding, Inc. for Etowah LLC. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask where my pictures. There you go.
This is the first slide again. The 6.18 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.27 miles northwest of the intersection of South Buncombe Road and Brushy Creek Road, and currently contains an office and vacant commercial. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned S1 Services District. The request is for I1 Industrial District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is a recycling processing center. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to I1 Industrial District will be consistent with the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan future land use designation of industrial and would be consistent with similar zoning in the area. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to I1 Industrial District. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for staff? Motion, please.
I have a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
He beat you. Ms. Manning made a motion to approve, and Mr. Moore has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no.
The next docket is CZ-2026-002. The property is located at 105 Pebble Creek Drive and Kindleton Way in Taylors. The applicant is Sergey Tushko of Green City Homes for Stone Ridge Golf LLC. The 3-acre subject property consists of a portion of one parcel and is located approximately 0.28 miles northwest of the intersection of Pebble Creek Drive and Stallings Road, and currently contains sport courts, a clubhouse, and parking areas. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned PD, Planned Development District. The request is for PDMC, Planned Development District major change. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is single-family attached or multifamily residential. The applicant is proposing to reallocate 3 acres of land within the PD from community recreation to 1.8 acres of single-family attached or multifamily residential units and 1.2 acres of passive recreation space. Within the residential area, there would be a maximum of 24 units, with each unit being a maximum of 2,000 square feet in size, with a maximum of 45 feet height. Units would be constructed in a townhome style with a variety of materials and no more than 3 units attached per row. A shared driveway may be shared by up to 3 units and 2 parking spaces provided per unit with a minimum of 36 parking spaces. The applicant is proposing a 30-foot setback along Pebble Creek Drive and Kindleton Way, with a canopy street tree placed every 40 feet of road frontage. 200 square feet of additional recreational area will be provided per unit. Signage will be compatible with the architecture of proposed buildings with a maximum height of 6 feet and maximum width of 10 feet. Site lighting will be a maximum of 16 feet in height with full cutoff fixtures. And this is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. In the initial rezoning application, which established the Pebble Creek PD, the protection and preservation of existing and future recreational amenities was listed as one of the primary intentions of the development. To achieve this, 183.4 acres of open space was meant to be provided within the PD. On review of zoning records, staff only finds evidence of approximately 165 acres of open space within the PD as it currently exists. Additionally, a set number of single-family and multifamily units were established within the statement of intent for Pebble Creek. Development estimates for the PD submitted by the applicant indicate that more single-family dwellings have been constructed than were meant to be allowed in the PD, and the golf course occupies more acres than was initially planned. While development overall is still under the total allowed units, this is due in part to the construction of more single-family homes and less multifamily dwellings than should have been permitted. Staff is of the opinion that the reallocation of open space within the PD for more residential development would further reduce the total open space within the development, and this incremental reduction of open space could undermine one of the principles on which the PD was established. Based on these reasons, staff recommends denial of the requested rezoning to PDMC, Planned Development District major change. Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioners, any questions?
I do have a question. am I reading this correctly, that the 183 some odd acres are meant to be provided within the PD originally? It's only 165 acres today. What happened to the other 18 acres?
It's a very good question.
And I know none of us were here when this PD was originated, and I'm just curious, do we know what happened to the other?
Honestly, I'm not sure. As happens with a lot of these older, larger plan developments, records, as staff members change, as technologies and record-keeping practices change, errors do tend to build up over time.
I will say that there have been times where the boundary has changed, where I know for a fact one parcel came out. There was, I think, one residential small property that just came out of the PD. So it could have been more of those, but I mean, I do know that has happened once before. So,
What it says, the golf course occupies more acres than was initially planned, but we're still short 18 acres. How does that work together?
I'm afraid I don't have a good answer for you on that one, unfortunately.
They can make one up for you.
Yeah, no, I know PDs get complicated over time. The question I have is, if there were more acres of open space than was originally called for in the PD, and whatever this acreage is here, 2 acres or whatever it is, if there were in excess of more acres that the PD allowed than this small development's going to take, would this still be in violation of the PD because it was considered a recreational amenity?
If they had developed an excess of open space, I don't believe they would be back here with this request.
Okay. I just couldn't tell if that was the old tennis courts were a recreational amenity that couldn't be repurposed in some recreational way. I mean, obviously they're not in use today, but what I'm hearing is that they're below the PD requirement, and that's the key issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll
Ms.
make a motion. We recommend denial.
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Phillips accepts staff's recommendation and makes a motion to deny. And, golly, Mr. Holland has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor to deny, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right.
The next docket is CZ-2026-003. The property is located at 333 Gibson Drive in Greenville. The applicant is Michael Fernandez of Cardinal Capital Investment Group, LLC, for Hound Spray, LLC. The 66.12 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.77 miles northeast of the intersection of Whitehorse Road, Highway 25, and Old Whitehorse Road, and currently contains vacant land. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned RS, Residential Suburban District. The request is for R15, Single Family Residential District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is a single-family residential development. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to the R15 Single-Family Residential District would not be consistent with the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan future land use designation of suburban edge, which calls for low-intensity development integrated into the natural and agricultural landscape at a density of 0 to 1 units per acre. Staff also has concerns about placing a large number of additional homes onto a relatively narrow local road with limited road frontage and no alternative access points. Based on these reasons, staff recommends denial of the requested rezoning to R15 Single Family Residential District. Mr. Chairman.
All righty, Commissioners, motion or any questions for staff?
I'd like a motion to accept staff's denial.
All righty.
second.
Ms. Manning made a motion to accept staff's recommendation. Mr. Parham's got the second. Any further discussion? All in favor to deny, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. No. Mr. Hammond has a no.
The next docket is CZ-2026-004. The property is located at 2706 Whitehorse Road in Greenville. The applicant is Samuel Hamburger of Parliament Companies LLC for 2706 Whitehorse LLC. The 11.36 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.12 miles north of the intersection of Whitehorse Road, Highway 25, and Interstate 185, and currently contains warehousing and distribution. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned C2 Commercial District. The request is for I1 Industrial District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is warehousing and manufacturing. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that successful rezoning to the I1 Industrial District will be consistent with the Plan Greenville County Comprehensive Plan, future land use designation of industrial, and would be consistent with similar zoning in the area. The parcel has also been used for industrial and warehousing purposes previously and is situated along an active rail line servicing other industrial property. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to I1 Industrial District. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Or motion?
I'll have a motion to accept staff's recommendation to approve the requested rezoning.
I'll second. Give it to Ken.
Give it to Ken.
Yeah, but his name's so hard to say.
That's good practice.
I already forgot what I was doing. Ms. Manning made a motion to approve. Mr. Matasevic has the second. Any further discussion? All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. All right, that concludes the zoning.
Well, there's always something, isn't there?
Ready when you are.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on subdivision's agenda today is PP 2025-179, Magnolia Estates reconsideration of the condition of approval. I can give a little bit of background on that condition if you'd like.
A little.
All right, so Magnolia Estates was previously approved as a proposed conventional subdivision located east of Keeler Mill Road, which is a state road. The applicant was approved in November 2025 for 49 lots on 95.36 acres for a density of 0.51 units per acre, with access provided off of Keeler Mill Road, which is a state road. The request here is to alter or remove the condition of approval that was previously placed on the application related to the septic approval. Here is the site plan that was previously approved and within your packets. Here is the site outlined in red. Here are some images of the site. Okay. SAC comments, the top comment was presented in November. It's from Metro. It was a septic request was submitted as Keeler Mill Road track. Septic was denied by Metro and REWA on 8/26/2025, and a pump station will be required. In light of this additional request, I have this additional note from REWA. This parcel is located within the area identified in REWA's master plan. All other SAC comments were addressed during the resubmittal period, which was noted at the time of the November Planning Commission meeting. So this is the staff recommendation that was approved and put on the plan. It is provide either septic or sewer approval letter from REWA and Metro, depending on which type of approval is given. Updated documents and a revised preliminary plan may be required. If sewer is selected prior to land disturbance permit, a signed sewer availability letter and feasible connection path to sewer will be required, with updated preliminary plan to show the location of sewer lines and connection of easements. The request is to remove the above listed condition and replace with verbiage that would state instead to provide a septic approval of permits from DES, or go with the sewer approval and get the necessary sewer approval documentation from REWA and Metro.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Staton. Nobody signed up in opposition. Paul Harrison, come on down. Are you okay with what they're recommending?
I am.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I was trying to say in the November meeting, is that septic permits are under the jurisdiction of the state.
Sure,
So
not
I
us.
just think the wording, the way it's currently worded, if I get those septic approvals, it still doesn't get me past that existing language. And I'm okay with the way Megan stated the new language.
Okay, the new condition. Commissioners, any question for the engineer or for Megan?
Nothing changed on the site plan,
No,
nothing changed on
no.
anything.
It's just
I
considering it.
tend to believe, from not just from some crazy odd guess out there, but from experience, that since this parcel is within the REWA expanded boundaries, Metro expanded boundaries, it is possible that, they could be argued with and they change their mind, but I don't understand how the conditions as written already are a problem. It's just either you have that discussion with REWA and they say, yes, you have to develop using sewer, or, they say, yeah, I understand, we'll let you do septic. But either way, you're going to have to provide this information to land development before you move forward.
Basically, the language as Megan wrote it was, the way it's currently written, it means that I've got to get septic approval from REWA and Metro.
Yes.
That's not the way it should be, because they don't have jurisdiction and authority over septic permits in the state of South Carolina. That authority lies with DES.
Correct, but their authority is now over the area that was expanded late 24.
Well, there's no sewer. Two things. You guys just approved a subdivision in December where this same thing came up, and the language.
The lot numbers were a lot different.
The language was adjusted. I think they had 25 lots. I've got 49 lots on 90-something acres. But more importantly is, the closest REWA line is running along the Reedy River, which is basically 2.5 miles away.
Okay.
So for me to put in a sewer system for 49 lots, we've ran the numbers. My clients here, they had a cost estimate done. It's upwards of $3 million to put in a pump station, force main, and extend gravity sewer 2,500 feet to be able to supply this site with sewer. And 49 lots will not support that.
We changed it in December. I mean, we just basically said, this isn't our purview and it's not staff's purview. It's the state's.
Can I ask staff a question, please?
Sure.
SAC, REWA and Metro are designated as part of the SAC, is that not correct?
That's correct.
So this statement, from them was made at the SAC meeting for this. As with any entity that's involved, that goes back to the applicant. Would it not have behooved them to have that conversation? I'm just, if we have an SAC and we have these entities and that's the whole point of us doing this, for them to review applications, and not that they're always right, not that everything they say is an adamant, but when they make these recommendations, it's pretty much a for the best of all type of situation.
Like I said, they have a master plan that they're going off
Mhm.
of. That's how they're making their recommendation.
They're looking at.
But
Which-
that's based on their master plan, and that may be fulfilled in however many years
Right.
as well. So you have to think about that as well.
Right. So we don't know where that is in the whole scheme of things.
Nope.
Not necessarily, no.
All right. Can we get a motion to,
I've got a quick question,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Chair.
Mr. Parham?
So, thank you. So, do you have the plat for this?
Yeah.
Wasn't this the one that had another, like on top of this and to the right, there was another
There
piece
was
to
a
this?
previously approved subdivision.
So how many units are we showing here?
This is
49.
49.
49. Is there not another portion that we're missing here?
It's not a phase of this subdivision technically, but
I guess what I'm
It's adjacent
I'm
to
getting
it.
at here is you're using 49.
It's a
But
separate client and a separate applicant. That's
Okay,
not-
it's
we're
completely
not-
separate.
We're
Okay.
not involved with that
I thought
project.
that was a second phase or something. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Matasevic.
Ms. Staton, you had the language. Could you put the language back up on the screen, please?
yeah. And I apologize. I don't have the revised language listed on the screen. I just kind of spoke it verbally.
Can you repeat that just for my clarification, please?
Yes. So essentially, actually, I may be able to provide the written. I just don't have it on the screen. Give me just a moment, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
From last month. I'm trying to grab it. Okay, this is the language that, that you would go with if you were choosing to allow for septic. One, sewer access must be obtained from Metro and REWA, or septic approval must be obtained from SCDES prior to issuance of final plat.
And that replaces the paragraph that you see up there.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
if indeed somebody makes a motion as such.
I'd like to make a motion.
Before we make a
Wait a
motion,
minute.
I apologize, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Just procedurally, because this is set up in the agenda as two different points, you will need to vote to reconsider and then vote
Oh.
on the condition.
Good catch. All right, Commissioners, can I get a motion to reconsider this?
I'll suggest a motion to reconsider
Oh,
Magnolia Estates.
All righty, we have Ms. Manning's made a motion
To
to
reconsider.
approve or to reconsider this decision, and Ms. Franklin has the second. Any further discussion on the reconsideration? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Ms. Phillips has the no. All righty, now we need a motion to, with the new condition.
And I'll present a motion with the new conditions to go with the staff recommendation for approval with the conditions of the plan.
I'll second.
All right, I don't think staff made a recommendation on this one, but,
Well, they say approval with conditions.
okay. Ms. Manning made,
Should we? Yeah.
staff, do you agree with this?
And you want me
Please.
to make a staff recommendation
Please.
on this.
Yeah. But that's the old one, not the new one. Can you restate your motion for us?
I'll restate my motion by saying I would have a motion to approve the staff
recommend, or
new recommendations,
No, not recommendations. The new condition.
the new conditions for Magnolia. Is that sufficient?
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I will second that.
All right, Mr. Matasevic has the second. All in favor to approve staff's new condition and delete the old condition on Magnolia Estates, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
I figured. Ms. Phillips has a no. All righty. No, it was my fault.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is 2025-15 Belwin for a review of change to the preliminary plan under the conditions of approval. The request is for case Belwin, case PP 2025-15, which was approved in 2025. The request is to change the site plan based on plan review comments that came up during the land disturbance permitting phase. Per the conditions of approval, any deviation from approved preliminary plat and conditions for approval are to be submitted to Planning Commission as subdivision revisions for approval and denial prior to land development permits. Here is the preliminary plan that was approved and previously presented. And here is the revised site plan and some close-ups of that site plan.
Yeah, it is.
I'm happy to answer any questions about this or go over any further details. Mr. Chairman.
No, I'm going to open it up to the public as well. Any questions for staff real quick? I mean, you can see the difference between what a pond is on a preliminary plan and on the final plan. All right, we have several people that signed up in opposition. William Johnson. 10 minutes for everybody.
Okay. My name is Bill Johnson. I live at 220 East Yellowstone Road in Greer. I'm a homeowner in the Sugar Creek subdivision. The previous plat, as was explained by Ms. Staton, was a condition number 7 that required it to come back to the Planning Commission if there were changes. I have to tell you that those changes were not shared with the public. We didn't know what those changes were before this meeting. Fortunately, we were able to go down to land development, and they were willing to spend a few minutes with us, and we got this and saw it for the first time less than an hour ago. The changes that we could see on here, we knew about the third pond, but what we didn't have were the statistics in terms of open space, how much was developable, how much was not developable. But the concern that we have is that with these changes, the enlargement of the pre-existing 2 ponds, the ones on the left side of this plat, together with the addition of the third pond, which apparently is necessary in order to prevent flooding of adjacent Sugar Creek properties, that takes away open space. We were, of course, curious about whether there was enough open space left to qualify for the open space option. We didn't know the information, as I said, until maybe an hour ago, if I'm lucky. But what we could see from the brief time that we've had with the statistics on here is that what's shown here as developable open space, we think is overstated. There is a rule in land development regulations, it may be land use regulations, Chapter 11, which indicates that developable open space must be at least a minimum of 50% of total open space, okay? What's on this plat comes out to about 55%, but what we saw is that there is a section K, which is included on that left-hand side of the plat in about the middle, you'll see that section that says developable open space, A through K. K, if you looked on the previous plat, is actually the setback around the property. It was there before, and it was not a part of developable open space on the previous plat. All of a sudden, Section K has become developable open space. So, I have a natural question. How did that happen? And what quality of Section K changed to suddenly qualify it as being developable open space? Without K, this drops down to the low 30s in terms of percentages, and therefore doesn't qualify for the open space option. You can look up in Chapter 11. You can also look in the ordinances, the zoning ordinances, Chapter 4, that also says the exact same thing I just said. Minimum of 50% for developable open space. This doesn't qualify because it doesn't meet the 50% minimum. We certainly agree with the enlargement of the ponds and the third pond, but as I said, I don't think this qualifies to begin with. And honestly, looking at the new plat, is this really what Greenville County had in mind when they came up with the open space option? This doesn't look like it's saving a lot of forestry or open space. In fact, where that third pond is, where all the old growth trees, or most of the old growth trees that the developer said he was preserving, well, they're all being ripped out because that pond's going in right where they are, or were. Well, they are now, but they won't be. So I guess what I'm asking is, does this really qualify, even if you forget about the developable open space? Just looking at this, is this really what Greenville County intended when they came up with the open space option? Or is this a good example of why Greenville County currently has a moratorium on open space option? I would beg to offer that it's the latter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Michael Fox.
Good evening. Michael Fox. I'm at 211 East Shallowstone, Greer. So I'm in the Sugar Creek 3 development myself. My thoughts are that at first I feel that we were at a disadvantage in this entire process because there was nothing ever posted on the county website to show us a new plat as to what was going on. The drawing that we have here that's being shown does not have any of the location. It has the calculations for what the space is, but they're not marked in the drawing. So we're assuming that K is where K was in the last drawing, but they're not on that drawing. So it's an incomplete drawing for us to even evaluate if we want to look at it. We have the same concerns we had before, that we do not feel that this development is in the character of the neighborhoods. One of the requirements for a development is that it needs to be in the character of the neighboring neighborhoods. We do not feel that this is in the character of the neighboring neighborhoods. So we object to it on that basis. When I look at the drawing, the previous drawing, the total developable land was considered at 2.81. So you put a lake in it, and now it's 3.79. That's some good magic. And that's kind of my concern. It looks to me like the books are cooked, okay? Thank you.
All righty. No one else has signed up for opposition, so the one in favor, Charles Green. Give us your name and address, please, sir.
How's it going, everybody? Charles Greer, 366 Juniper Bend Circle. Sorry, I have bad handwriting.
I got bad eyesight.
So I have a letter from Mr. Bradshaw, the owner, he was not able to make it, so I'm going to represent him, and I'll read that off real quick to y'all, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. So Mr. Bradshaw, he respectfully requests that this is approved for the Bellwin development, which is presently on the Planning Commission for this agenda. As the commission will recall, the Bellwin site plan was approved early last year, and Greenville County Council subsequently elected not to remand the plan to commission out for further review. He regrets that he's unable to attend today's meeting in person. However, we were only notified on Monday that this was going to be on today's agenda. We never submitted anything to actually be on the agenda. County planning staff has advised us that the project is before commission due solely to modifications to the approved site plan. These modifications were not voluntarily initiated by the applicant, but were instead directed by county staff. Specifically, during our pre-design meeting with the county on June 5th, Denane Wright instructed that Bellwin development be designed to accommodate the 100-year storm event rather than the previously approved 25-year storm event. No calculations, technical justification, or detailed explanation were provided other than the statement that downstream conditions necessitated this requirement. Compliance with this directive resulted in substantial increase to the size of the stormwater facilities, which is why we have the third pond and the original two grew. The only other modification reflected in the revised plan is a reduction of mail kiosks from 2 to 1. Nothing changed with the lots or the roads or any way of how the property is being subdivided. We were further informed by staff that Planning Commission had taken the unusual step of requiring that any change at all to an improved plan be returned to the Commission for review. Notably, we did not receive notice of this requirement until approximately 3 weeks after the submission of our construction permit application. Based on discussions with multiple civil engineers practicing in the region, such a standard would necessitate Planning Commission review for nearly all approved developments, as plans submitted for approval are by their nature preliminary. In the case of Bellwin, the plans presented today remain substantially consistent with those reviewed and discussed by the Commission during the multiple meetings early last year. It is also important to emphasize that these modifications were mandated by county staff and not the result of discretionary design changes by the developer. We have designated stormwater facilities to meet the standards that the county staff indicated would be applied at the permitting stage. Moreover, we are advised by the county attorney that Planning Commission does not possess authority or jurisdiction over stormwater design matters. In light of the foregoing and considering the extensive history and prior approvals associated with the subdivision, we respectfully request that the Commission approve the proposed site plan modification so that we may proceed with permitting construction without further delay. William Bradshaw.
Commissioners, any question for this representative?
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman, but I'd like to speak if I may.
Sure, Ms. Phillips.
Since I was the one that recommended all the 8, 9 conditions that were documented, I do remember clearly them being stated word for word at the meeting. So to claim that the applicant was not aware is, well,
I understand. I'm reading a letter.
they must not have been. I mean, it's on the plat. There's no question about it. Understanding this is just coming back to us because of those conditions, because one of those was if that something like that changed to decrease the open space, because that was a big thing here, that big area of open space that was going to be what I thought, and I guess everyone else thought was going to be a bonus to this development, is now depleted because of stormwater. So it kind of negates that bonus. And that's why it's coming back here. Now, I think this is probably a very rare situation, and our processes don't necessarily define how it comes back to the Planning Commission. Correct, Mr. Chairman?
That's true.
Which is why signs were not posted. It didn't go through the full thing, and it may be something we might need to look at going forward, you know. So I would say that I did want to defend the fact that, you know, I understand the public not being aware, because when I looked online, I noticed myself that there was no new plat and there was not an advance public notice, and I asked the same questions. In the applicant's defense, I understand the stormwater changed, but it was significant. which does change the whole layout and design of this plan. So I just wanted to make that known.
I would like to state that we are still over the 30% open space
Yes.
requirement. We're in the mid-30s now. And the 50% mentioned earlier is a 50% of the 30% of the open space
Right.
should be developable. So I just
Right.
want to clarify that.
I understand. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Bradshaw's comment, no, stormwater's not our purview. You dig a big hole in the middle of open space, that's our purview. So, I mean, this open space was bad to begin with. It's a lot worse, and it's just not getting any better. You haven't even said, okay, we'll get rid of a few lots. You stuck with the original design, but added twice as much or more of retention pond area into the open space. So I still believe you're non-conforming to LDR 11.1, 3, and 4. So,
I would
Mr.
like to
Chair.
note,
Go ahead.
if I may, that,
Go ahead.
I mean, the purpose of the stormwater is to protect the residents that are currently in Sugar Creek. So.
well, I understand, but the whole purpose of the open space is to give meaningful proportions and usable area.
I would like to argue that this is one of the better open space plans I've seen in the past.
Well, I'm
10
sure
years.
you would, and I think it's one of, and
We
I
understand who pays your bill.
think it's one of the worst, and I don't get paid by the hour like you.
I don't either.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for staff.
All righty.
Several emails that we all received, one of the emails stated that a few of the members of the Sugar Creek neighborhood came here to the county and they were shown the revised version. And when they asked to have a copy, they were told they'd have to file a FOIA. Why is that?
So the plans that are with land development, when they get submitted, they're part of land development's files. Anyone who wants to see that's not an applicant to that file, an authorized representative of that case, would need to file a FOIA request to get those construction plans and
So
be able to see them.
You let them physically look at them, but they couldn't have a copy.
I won't
Just
speak
to
for the
share
next
with-
department.
I mean, just
That's
to
correct.
share with their neighbors. you
That's
know.
correct.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's done with every development?
Well, this is an unusual situation. This is actually in process of,
Right.
so that's why it's different.
Yeah. They've not even approved the stormwater yet.
Like it's literally
Right.
still in our
In
system. So it's not a
process.
complete
Right.
and finalized version.
All righty.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Parham.
So if I remember correctly, you stated that this was approved before, right?
Yes, sir.
And I think that was last year, maybe springtime.
I think it was October.
Probably, I think, just before I was seated.
October,
I think
November.
it was October or November.
Well, before that, it was denied.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's been back and forth. In other words, it's been denied and then approved, and now we're looking at it again because of these major changes.
Because of the conditions from the approval of
Yeah.
the last.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And I understand why that was done. Okay. With that, I'd like to make a motion to deny,
Okay. Based on,
based on the things you mentioned earlier, which I believe is 11.1. I'm not going to read them all.
11.3 and 11.4.
Or, yes, 11.4.
I second Mr.
right.
Parham's motion.
And I'll third.
Mr. Parham made a motion to deny based on LDR 11.1, 3, and 4 and inadequate open space. And
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Holland has the second.
Finish, then we can discuss.
Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Matasevic.
I'll go back to the open space calculation again. On the plat that is on the screen, and thankfully I can blow it up on my computer here, it says that there is a total of 6.87 acres of open space. How much of that, staff, is required to be developable?
It's 50% of the required.
Of the required amount? Okay, so then that tweaks my question a little bit. There are, on the left-hand column here, there's 11, I know nobody in the crowd can read it, but there are 11 specific parcel, not parcels, but areas that are, and the last one is K, which says it's 1.25 acres. Now, there's two sheets here, you can see from the dashed lines. The second sheet, which I have, because we got it in our packets, says that K is very specifically labeled as undevelopable, which granted with the new and enlarged retention pond there, makes sense that it wouldn't be developable. But that puts a rather significant dent in the percentages. Now, I may not have all the information, so I'm not going to go out on a limb here, but if area K is undevelopable instead of developable, I could see that might put the 50% criterion at risk of not being met. Now, I don't know why it's labeled as undevelopable. I mean, I have my suspicions, but to me, it looks like the math, I know one of the speakers earlier used the term magic. There may be something behind the curtain here, but I'm just curious about that, because that seems to me to be either an error in the plat, which quite frankly ought to be rectified if it is an error, and then again, the possibility that we may not be in conformance if I'm right. But I don't know if I'm right, so that's why I kind of lean on staff a little bit on that.
We have a motion on the floor, sir, and this really doesn't apply to it. I mean, would it make a difference in this motion?
No.
Okay. All righty. We have a motion to deny. Heck, I forgot who made it already. Mr. Parham.
Seconded by Mr. Holmes.
Okay. Any further discussion beyond Mr. Matasevic? All in favor to deny, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
All right, it's denied 8-1. Mr. Hammond has the no. All right, we're on to the variance.
This is VAR 2025-115-605 Gross Meadow Road, LDR 8.7 side setback variance. The applicant is seeking a variance from...
Ms. Staten, let's give him a minute. Please exit quietly. I want to go home before the sun sets.
Yes.
We all want to go home. Or at least to a bar. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Ms. Staten.
Would you like me to start over?
Sure, please. I couldn't hear you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is VAR 2025-115-605 Gross Meadow Road, LDR 8.7 side setback variance. The applicant is seeking a variance from the requirements of LDR Section 8.7, which requires a 20-foot setback along a side property line in the unzoned area for a commercially used property. The applicant states that the request is to place an open-air pavilion on the site, which is used as an event venue. Here is the site plan that was included in your packets. And here is an aerial of the site showing the location of the site outlined in red. Here is the zoning of the site. You can see that the site is adjacent to the city of Greer, as well as being in the unzoned area. Here are some Google images of the site to the west of the site and to the east of the site. No comments were provided at SAC. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the variance as requested. The conditions are as follows. 1, provide a letter from the adjoining property owner stating that there are no issues with this encroachment into the setback area. Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have no one who signed up to speak on this. God, I really would like to ask, why can't you move
Yes.
the thing back and the addition goes sideways?
This piece of property came before us sometime early last year for other variances to the south, I believe, of this particular piece of property, because this backs up to a portion of Blue Ridge Plantation.
Is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And
There you go.
We did allow those variances to go through then. Is the applicant here?
Well,
Okay,
would have been nice.
yeah.
Could I make a motion to deny?
Well, you can make a motion for anything. but-
I
second
don't- Based on what Mr. Holland has said, I mean, and from what I've seen, I think there could be some readjusting on this property, and, sometimes you only get so large. And being there have already been variances granted for this property, maybe it's time to look at a bigger site?
If I remember correctly, the existing main building was the issue. And there was some issues with the parking here, I think, on the south side of our drawing here. This is a new building that he's wanting to put up, and I know it says in there he wants to keep it in alignment with the gazebo. That is the portion that is right to the edge of Gross Meadow Road. So you really couldn't put anything else there. And the property behind him is further back. I don't know, but it is concerning that the applicant is not here to answer any questions.
Well, they could pull the pavilion back or move it north. I mean,
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out how you put paved or marked parking spots on a gravel space.
We're just open conversation here, right?
Well,
It looks like.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't believe it's too much
Well,
hardship.
I would have to agree with what everyone else is saying. It's like applicant's not even here. That's really not a good showing. I didn't know if we got a letter. Anybody get a letter or anything from them? I didn't, other than what they filed. And I actually went out there, and I think one of the other variances that was approved is that basically they're extending that chapel right up against the fence.
Right.
Yeah.
And, for me, it's kind of like, I would love to have had a couple of questions. I would have tried to find some middle ground here, but there's nobody here to ask.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I seconded the motion.
That was Mr. Parham, just to help her with the minutes. I try to say everybody's name. Ms. Phillips made a motion to deny. Mr. Parham has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
Mr. Hammond has a no. All right. Thank you, Ms. Staton. I guess Mr. Josh is Mr. Draper.
He has more hair, but.
Josh is Mr. Anderson.
Well,
We have a,
It's toward the end of the meeting. I'm trying. Do you want to say anything about the planning report?
I do, yeah, I've got some things. We've got a presentation here, but, what exactly is next? The plan report? Okay.
Yeah, so, open it in half.
All right, so, yeah. A few things on the report. Let's see, long range Judson Community Plan update, the preliminary stages of updating area plan adopted in 2012. County staff has prioritized forming genuine connections with the community and wants to gain an understanding of the area through the eyes of the residents. The Cherokee Foothills Corridor Plan for Highway 11 is in development. The steering committee held its inaugural meeting on December and January, there we go, with public meetings anticipated in the spring and focused to preserve corridors' scenic, cultural, and historic qualities. In transportation, staff has started working on the 5-year update to the long-range transportation plan. A consultant has been selected, and staff is currently finalizing the contract negotiations with them, and the report is expected in October of this year. Let's see. Resolutions, staff is working to provide the report of developments and lots connected to septic and sewer. We intend to have this for you tonight, but with the staff shortage and subdivision, we decided to hold off until the February meeting. We're looking at how to provide the report on the comp plan. We will be unable to deliver a report as detailed as described. Such a report would require third-party consultants and a significant cost to the county. We're exploring options similar to the audit of the area plan, which can identify issues and needed updates to the comp plan. The annual report is finalized. We're putting last eyes on it right now. Tried to get it for tonight, just couldn't make it work with the weather and everything. But it will be ready for y'all to come out by the end of this week.
The 5-year comp plan, you had me confused. You trying to update it again?
No, I don't think we're trying to update the 5-year comp plan. The 5-year comp, I mean, it's already been updated.
That's pertaining to the resolution, right? The resolution requirements that we found or were found.
Well, some people are starting to find mistakes in the comp plan and wanting to bring it back again. So,
That's another whole new.
yeah, it's a whole nother.
So the 5-year, that was back in transportation. So the 5-year update is to the long-range transportation plan.
Okay.
Not to the comp plan.
Okay.
So that
Thank you.
transportation plan is updated,
I got it confused.
every 5 years as well.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any questions of Mr. Henderson? All right. Let's impact fee feasibility study.
All right. So
You're not going to go through this whole thing, are you?
slide by slide, and I'm going to note.
It's a good question.
We do have it here if we need to look at anything. But just kind of go through some of Draper's notes here. Carson Byes did make his report to the Planning Commission and Council on January the 13th. I think the majority of y'all were there. Important points from this presentation that I'll point out, just a few of them here. And like I said, we've got the slides here if we need to go back and reference anything. But impact fees are only paid by new development and not by the existing residents or businesses. So these are just, like I said, points to just keep in mind. Impact fees cannot charge for a higher level of service unless a funding plan is in place. Tischler Bias evaluated the Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, Emergency Medical Services, Parks and Recreation, Stormwater, Solid Waste, and Transportation. Out of these, they recommended an impact fee be prepared for the Sheriff's Department, EMS, and Parks and Recreation. There was a recommendation that it is likely fees are appropriate for several of the county's larger fire districts and would include components for both station space and apparatus. And then while there is a major concern with traffic, Tischler Bias recommended against a fee on transportation until the county secures an alternative long-term dedicated capital funding for transportation capacity projects. So tonight, your vote tonight is a recommendation to council and should establish two things. Number one, if an impact fee study should be completed, so remember this was just to determine whether or not that be done, and then which, if any of the impact fees should be included, so any of those that I previously listed a second ago. And then if council ultimately decides to make, to have the study made, then a bidding process will occur and interested contractors will be vetted for the county's procurement policy. And like I said, we've got the presentation here. If there's any slides you want me to pull up to discuss further. That's all I have from Draper, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody want to see a slide?
No, but I have a
Any
question or
slide?
two.
And I will try to answer the questions. Draper, and he's just here, and Draper is watching and is responding in real time, so.
So can you repeat that last process, the last point you made about the procurement process?
Yeah, so if council decides to move forward with the
Full
next
study.
phase, it'll go into that process of bidding, going through the procurement process, then will be decided upon through a committee that goes, that reviews those applications.
We have to follow our procurement ordinance.
Thank you.
Right, and is that lowest bid?
Yeah.
What is, it is?
Well, it's RFQ, and then
Okay.
we negotiate the cost.
So it's not a default to lowest bid?
No.
Oh.
And who all's on that committee, you said?
We will determine that.
He should.
We'll work with the procurement.
So will any of the planning commissioners be on
No. Well, I guess
We will probably have the chairman on there.
yeah.
that? Okay, all right.
You can be there if you like.
It depends on the process, that's what I was trying to understand.
No.
Is that a 30?
Actually,
30-day?
I take that back. You will not be, because it goes to council. It will be a council thing. So
So they pick
they will be a part of the process.
okay,
But it will, staff will make sure that our procurement ordinance is followed. We
Okay.
put it out to bid on their behalf, and then they will tell us who they would like on the review team.
I got kicked off real
and
quick,
then
didn't I?
we would go from there.
yeah. So the other thing I was curious about is
What reference to make a recommendation?
the document that we were provided, we paid for, taxpayers paid for, from the consultant. That's available to all taxpayers now? Is it posted somewhere online for them to see?
What document? The feasibility study?
The feasibility study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, we can post it. It's not on there yet because you guys haven't,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, but if
But
we do
we will-
approve it,
yes.
it will be, okay.
yes.
And I guess I'll call it a budgetary estimate. We were provided a week or 2 or 3 ago, I can't remember exactly, an initial set of numbers.
Yes, that's not going to get posted because that's not something that is set into stone.
Right.
And that's not something that he
Right.
controls.
Right, that was not going to be my question, though.
Correct.
My question was going to be, it was roughly 131K, 600 hours, and then it doubled, 1,300 hours and 284K. Any idea? I mean, you guys are interacting with the
Yeah, a lot more.
consultants.
So a
Why
lot
did
more
it-
has gone into as they dig deeper. When they give these initial values, I mean, it's really just kind of a broad brush. But now knowing more
This one's
about the
real broad.
details. I'm sorry.
This one's real broad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's a big change.
Right, but again, those numbers they can't be held accountable for because until you really,
They haven't done their formal estimate proposal. I get
correct.
that.
They're not going to
I'm
put a
familiar
whole bunch of.
with that
it'll
aspect. of
change
it.
with the RFQ process.
Yeah.
It will.
Okay. One of the things that I read in their response, they laid out the sequence of how things would go. There's like task 1, task 2, et cetera. Many of those things, or the very first thing, is talking about data acquisition. And I realize that some of these costs are fixed, but do we have staff that can provide some of that data? Aren't we going to have to provide that data to begin with?
Some of it will be, and then some of it will be data that they will have to help us.
But it's our
get.
data, though, right? I mean, it's the county data we already
It's
have.
data about the county, but it may not be in the right format. It may not be.
Right. I do
Right.
that kind of stuff for a living. so
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm asking.
Yeah.
And also, if we move forward, we have to have the CIP and a LOS, right? Because those are the basis.
CIP for sure. The LOS, we have some of the basis, for some of that with our long-range transportation plan and our travel demand model.
So where I'm going with this is some of these things we already own.
Some of it
And
we
I
do.
think we should have a CIP and an LOS in place, and they don't get to charge us to develop those things. I'm just putting this out there for you guys to consider as we start moving forward, especially since none of us are going to get to be involved in that process. So we own the data already. We could probably put something together. I'm willing to help out on a committee or work sessions, whatever, to pull that data together and possibly cut some cost here. I was just amazed how much it doubled. And the last thing I'll say is I was kind of waffling back and forth on this. This is more so for you guys, like whether or not it was actually going to be as big a lever as we all thought it was going to be initially. So I'm not really ready to vote on it. I'd like to see some of this additional information, but if we need to tonight to keep things moving forward. But I do feel like it may not be a big lever that we thought it was going to be, but it may be one of the cogs of how we get more revenue coming in. Because right now, according to the report, we're only getting 65%, or we're getting 65% from the property taxes. The rest of it's fees and other revenue streams. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Manning?
I think the other thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is that the whole reason that we were looking at impact fees was to be able to help transportation, and yet the comment's been made here that the county will either have to raise existing rates, find new revenue sources, and/or face deterioration in levels of service and quality of life. So the actual entities that will benefit from this, it's going to be the Sheriff's Department, bless them, and EMS, bless them, and the parks, bless them, but not transportation. And I'm still keying off the comment that was made that because we didn't pass the penny sales tax, that in fact that was one of the reasons that transportation was not included in any of this. It's a lot of money to be able to pay to go ahead and help the Sheriff's Department and EMS and what have you. Maybe we can take the $280,000 and divide it with the...
Between us?
Yeah, well, between us or between the Sheriff's Department. And I don't mean to be,
Or put it towards roads.
yeah.
Well, the planning commission has the right to recommend whichever fee you choose to council.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hall?
I'm concerned that we have the sheriff's office, which I'm all for their money. I'm all for EMS having money. Parks and Rec, I'm a little confused, but not the fire departments. So.
That is a separate thing that is being handled separately because we have 31 separate fire
All right,
districts.
but the majority of the fire departments in this county are running first response for Greenville County EMS. They're getting there first, they're treating the patients waiting on a transportation truck.
They are special purpose tax districts already, so that has to be handled differently for our county. It's set
Right.
up differently in other places, obviously,
Right, but why would we include Parks and Recreation in this? I mean, don't we already have?
We don't have to.
you don't have to.
Right, but they already have a separate funding stream, correct? Through tax dollars currently and also through hospitality tax money. Does any of that money go towards Parks and Rec?
Oh, yeah.
It
Right.
does to a point. Yes.
Okay, so I would think level of service, first we need to take care of protection, which would include our sheriff's department, our fire departments, and EMS. And Parks and Rec, seems like that would be low on the totem pole. I mean, I'm all for parks and that's great, but if I have a wreck or my house catches fire, I would think that.
Well, that's
is
where
a
you
little
guys get to
above
decide.
Yeah, I was going to make a suggestion.
Safety.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the citizens that live here that enjoy those things. That's the other 30% of the folks that work here and come here to play. They also use EMS, fire, and sheriff's office.
Sure.
And I know they use our parks too,
You
but.
done?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
No, I was going to make a suggestion. It's just a suggestion that we move this on to council with a recommendation to do a full-blown study for roads and infrastructure, fire, and EMS. Those are the three categories. It doesn't, this isn't,
Sheriff's office.
I don't agree with sheriff's office.
Oh, okay.
They,
Well,
look, it was a recommendation. If you want to add sheriffs, yes. If you don't, to try to cut cost, and I agree with you on parks. So I listed these three items, not in any important level of importance. Just do a study for those three categories.
but I would think that as the county continues to grow, we're also going to need more deputies and more cars on the road to patrol.
I think you're open to adding sheriff, right?
Yeah, but council sure does seem to get beat up on, and they sure do provide the most of the funding that he requests.
If I might add, there is a fire study currently getting in progress, so I would caution you to include that in your recommendation.
Because of the consolidation.
Yeah.
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 But even if the fire departments are eventually consolidated, they'll still need to be funded. And why wouldn't you want to use some of this to assist with that?
I agree with
concur.
fire.
I concur.
I said fire.
I think we're all on the same
Mr.
page
Chairman,
here.
may I make a comment?
Sure, Mr. Hunt.
I've been here 5.5 years, and we collectively go around the table and figure out who's been here every number of years. I don't recall a single, and I'm not talking one, objection from anybody sitting out there, any email I got in 5.5 years saying, turn down this subdivision because there's not enough fire trucks. Turn down this subdivision because there's not enough sheriff's deputies. Turn down this subdivision because we don't have enough parks. Turn down this subdivision because we don't have enough ambulances. What I've heard 100% of the time, stormwater and traffic. If we're going to move forward with an impact fee, the only thing it needs to cover is transportation. These other items are funded by property taxes. They're funded by other methods. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, in this county funding transportation. We can pave about 3 miles of roads, and that's it.
Well, they added $20 million, wasn't it, this year?
We can pave 8 miles of roads then.
Yeah.
If we go down the road and you want to divvy up impact fees on EMS, fire, police, whatever, we're going to be able to pave 11 miles of roads. It's transportation. And all these other things are important, but they've got funding sources. Transportation does not have a set funding source in Greenville County, period. It does not have it. If we move this forward, it needs to be transportation only.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mattisevich.
I'm going to echo Mr. Hammond's comments 100%, but from a different angle. I ran for county council 2 years ago, and I knocked on a lot of doors, and I talked to a lot of citizens, and the exact same 100% of them were like, it's the roads. Or to quote a famous politician, it's the roads, stupid. You know, that's what the people want. And as representing the citizens of at least my district, they want it for the roads. They don't really give a rip if an impact fee goes to the parks or to any of the other categories. If it doesn't go to the roads, there's going to be backlash. I mean, they're like, the problem is the roads. The problem, like he said, is not the sheriff, it's not the fire. They're all doing a great job, and most people perceive that that is adequately covered. I mean, we can get into the nitty-gritty of their budgets, but people want the roads. That's end of paragraph, period. It's a hard stop.
Well,
Mr. Chair.
everybody does use the roads.
Mr. Moore, you finally awake?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will repeat, at the risk of repeating what we hear about roads, I agree 100%. If county council wants to add something more to it, they can. This body, in my opinion, should go with roads and let them decide what else they want to do. Because I'm not sure everybody understands how fees work. That's very clear based on the comments around, because I've been looking at Georgetown and some of the other counties that have it, and it's very different than what people are imagining. And I think one of the best things that could happen is have them do the study so we understand how it works, and then decide where you want to do it.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Parham.
The only thing I would kind of challenge that, I agree with you guys that transportation needs to be, it's the top of the list. But if you do add the others in, how do I say this? So right now we're looking at 65% of the pie is from property taxes. Is where a lot of the funding comes from, the majority of it. If we make the pie bigger by collecting some impact fees, and I agree, it's probably not going to be the lever we thought it was going to be, but if you do that and you also add in some for the EMS and sheriff, then aren't you basically able to reallocate some of that money that you would have spent out of this 65% on sheriff, EMS, et cetera? You can put that towards the roads also.
You got to do the funding plan, and
right.
You can't reallocate funds like that.
Well, I think there's somebody's been doing that a lot lately.
There's a lot of people doing a lot of things.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to interject. If we're going to move forward with impact fees, based on the study in the workshop.
Is that on?
It's on.
Okay.
There was nothing specifically said about affordable or attainable or workforce housing. I think we need to address how are we going to handle that? Because we know that housing is expensive and some people cannot afford they're struggling to purchase a home. So that we need to address attainable housing, workforce housing, affordable housing, whatever term we want to use.
Well, that should be part of the study.
I want to make sure that it's in the study.
I think it has to be by law.
Yeah, it has to, because you
Well,
can't.
yes.
Most other counties don't charge fees to those houses, and they get the funding from other sources, if I'm correct.
I just don't want it to be omitted, because when we were here, I think the gentleman didn't see the value in addressing it.
Well,
that was my understanding.
He was dressed very nicely, too.
Yeah, that we do nothing.
I know.
Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Phillips, we got
I'm
everybody
concerned
now.
about spending this kind of money and it ending up just looking at it and saying it's really not going to be that effective. I've got a question, and I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Maybe you can give me maybe yes, maybe no. The fees we charge for applications, permits, all those things, how are they in comparison to other counties? Could we raise those? And, I mean, are those things we could raise? Because I'm looking at the convoluity of impact fees in South Carolina, okay? And they're not, people that come from other states say, oh, we have impact fees there. Well, it's a little bit different of a game to play, even though we do need something to help us with our roads and infrastructure. But I don't know if it's going to be as beneficial as we think it is. So I'm just asking about those fees and.
Sure. That's a great question. So we raised our subdivision permit fees in 2022. We raised our building permit fees both this year and last year. We are competitive amongst others. We'll be raising our encroachment permit fees here pretty soon. So we are competitive in that way. Remember, we are county government, so we have to balance. For example, there are certain permit fees that we're going to limit because those are the things that affect the day-to-day homeowner. We don't
we don't want to do that.
But we do make sure that a developer is paying the comparable amount that they should be paying, even when they whine about it. So I would say that, yes, our fees are competitive, and we're always looking at how we compare to others in the market. We don't want to be the worst out there, but we also don't want to be, the lowest.
Okay. And how does that process work? Is that just a staff-driven thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just curious.
They'll come ask you next time.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we pass the impact feasibility study on the county council with a recommendation to do it and study transportation needs only.
That would make things a whole lot cheaper. If they focus on that one area.
I'll second Mr. Hammond's motion.
All righty. Is everybody, I do want to put that on the table. I mean, if you still want to read some more and study some more, we can hold this for one more month if you'd like. Or we'll just go with this. Let's try the motion. Mr. Hammond made a motion to send them all. For just roads and infrastructure. Under new business.
Citizens' mind, because everybody uses the transportation. Not everybody is using fire, police, and EMS. So, yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Motion's on the floor. Any further discussion? Except John. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, it's unanimous that we move this along to County Council for just roads and infrastructure. Under new business.
Undecided.
He would know.
16th.
Thank you, sir.
Double check me, though. It should be a Wednesday, right?
Your house,
Somebody
right?
double check me.
We're all
We
going
could have a cookout.
We're all going to Frank's Lake
We're going
House.
Frank, we're going to your lake house?
So December the 16th is a Wednesday. December the 23rd would be the following Wednesday, so that would obviously not be favorable.
Yeah.
And then
So-
it was mentioned about November.
That's the 18th.
That's the 18th.
Yes.
So the 18th and the 16th, 18th of November, 16th of December.
Yep.
Yeah, the 18th is already on the calendar.
All right, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
We're just adding December in case we need it.
Excellent.
Are you leaving it at 4:30? Are you leaving it at 4:30 in December?
Oh, she's asking if we're leaving it at 4:30 in December.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Y'all gonna.
Yes. Unless we want to do it at 12 at your house for lunch,
Ooh, yeah.
a Christmas lunch.
You can cater. God, what little hair I got left, y'all are just working on. All right, is there any other new business? Any other old business? Hearing none, we're adjourned.